Hello, thank you for joining Friday's edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Dapo Arua Joy. Today on the Hangout, Senator Ali Ndume demands opening up of Senator finances and subsidy thieves are jailed at last. And Army foils Boko Haram's attempt to capture Yobe, a military base. Babajide Otitoju, Ismail Omekidon will be hanging out with me today. Our Journalist Hangout starts now. Senator Ali Ndume has challenged his fellow senators that they have no clue on what the budget was like. And he therefore noted that lawmakers cannot be taken blame or get credit for what they know nothing about. This came during a debate on the general principles of the 2017 appropriation bill that entered day 2 on Wednesday. The exercise took a dramatic twist when the former majority leader of the Senate, Ali Ndume, tackled the Senate President Bukola Saraki for allegedly skipping his name on the list of lawmakers billed to speak on the budget. Wajide Otitojo, let me start with you. This is an indictment on both sides. Ali Ndume saying his fellow senators and most of them don't even know what the budget is like.
Well, I think that this is something that has been on for some time, and it has taken a member of the Senate to kind of say loudly what some of us have been talking about. Remember, during a retreat, during a PDP federal lawmakers retreat in 2015, Nuri Badu advised them to be transparent this time. He said most Nigerians do not know what senators earn, and that the senators will do themselves a word of good by letting their affairs be more transparent. In other climes, you know what your lawmakers earn, you know what your president earns. In our own case, the Senate has not been transparent enough. What we just know is 150 billion allocated to the Senate. The breakdown is never known to anyone. And you know, even when the president tried to introduce the TSA to the National Assembly, it was resisted.
Yes.
He said no, that you can't meddle in the affairs of another organ of government. So for Ndume to be saying it now, it shows that it's really a problem. Although what people are saying is, why has Ndume suddenly become radicalized?
Yes.
You know, because before now, Ndume was not publicly talking about this. This is something that happened. He's talking even about the budget for last year. And he's saying that it should not happen this year. So the question is,
where has it
did
been?
he complain last year when he saw clearly that they were not provided with details? You know?
But you see, we might know the reasons.
Yeah, now Bukola Saraki has moved quickly by giving him the chairmanship of the INEC committee.
Yes,
He actually created new committees. He's very good at keeping radicalized senators quiet. You know, Kabiru Marafa was the the stubborn. He was going to win the stubborn Senator of the Year award, but Bukola Saraki moved in and gave him a juicy chairmanship committee. Committee chairmanship.
Are you saying we're going to be hearing less allegations for Ali Ndume now? Now that he has something
Bukola Saraki has moved in quickly to keep him quiet. Because you see, the Senate and even the House of Reps, what they have done in the House of Reps is to create so many committees because they have more members. And to take care of the many members, it's not going to be easy. So, for example, the finance committee, they broke it down. You have the you have finance, you have customs under finance.
Under finance.
Yes. So they decide so that they can have more committees and more people can be happy
to go around.
Because when they are not happy, there will be rebellion.
Let me go Ismail talking also. He said, okay, the allegations now coming from Ali Ndume, before it was kept quiet, maybe with the lead to that was given to him by the Senate President, but at least allegations have been churned out already. Can we face these allegations and forget maybe he's not going to talk tomorrow? This is great. That's even the members, his members don't even know what is in the budget for them or what is in the budget generally. Say.
Well, like Mr. Jide said, as we all know, Ali Ndume was part of the leadership from June 2015 when the election was held. There was a budget for that year, even though they came in, they met the budget, but there was a supplementary budget. And anything Ali Ndume is talking about today also happened yesterday or happened in 2016. I agree with Nigerians that the National Assembly ought to be more transparent, you know, in their budgetary allocations. In fact, as a matter of fact, in 2014, Barrister Onyekpere, this director for Center for Social Justice, had gone to court to challenge the Senate. And I think the court gave an order that they should avail him of the information. Unfortunately, both the then Senate President, Senator David Mark, and the Minister for Finance, who was Okonjo-Iweala then, never carried out the order, and nobody said anything. Maybe now that it's coming from a member of the Senate, maybe. I say maybe because if you follow the tradition from 1999 till date, anytime you see a lawmaker shout, go and find out. It is either his interest has been hurt somewhere, or there's something that he wants and is not being given.
So normally they don't shout.
They don't shout.
Unnecessary.
When things are going on, I mean, for them, in their interest, you will not hear any noise. But anytime you hear a noise, is when something is amiss. Unfortunately for Ndume, at least for now, I have not had any member of the Senate come to talk. In fact, if anything, what they are talking about is how to jack the budget up from 115 billion to 150. And if you read the papers, you discover that they are trying to test the waters to see what Nigerians will say, because all the newspaper reports were quoting sources to say this is what they want to do. So I think they are waiting to see what the reactions of Nigerians will be, and to know whether to jack it up or to allow it to remain at 115. But I want to assure you that if, assuming Ndume said that out of anger, I want to believe that because INEC committee is also a juicy committee, I want to believe that we may not hear anything again. And if we do, except Ndume is able to galvanize enough support, he's not likely to make any headway with it.
What do you think, Jide? Is not going anywhere, these allegations?
No, there's always a lesson to learn in the treacherous waters of Nigerian politics. The young man from Bebeji in Kano has fled Nigeria. That's Jibrin. After he complained about what he called budget fraud. He said he doesn't like people calling it budget padding. That is actually budget fraud. And I think he was able to prove that it's actually budget fraud. But the point really is, at what point did Jibrin, at the moment Jibrin, begin to complain? It was after he was kicked out of his position as a chairman of the appropriation committee. You know, he fought tooth and nail to enthrone Dogara. You know, he fought even some of his best friends. Probably Dogara had promised him that he will that he will get the appropriation committee chairmanship, or even the finance committee that he was his chairman during the Jonathan years. So, but immediately that was taken off him, we saw him in a different light. Okay. He became radicalized.
Okay, Jide, I know there's more where this is coming from. Can you reserve them, because we need to go on a short break, and when we'll come back, the discussion continues. Don't go anywhere, please. So welcome back. You're still watching Journalist Hangout, and I did interrupt Jide to go on that break.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was saying that Jibrin, Abdul Mumin Jibrin became radicalized after they took the GSA House of Reps Appropriation Committee chairmanship from him. We need our lawmakers to put the interest of the nation above every other thing, because look, if you put the interest of the nation above everything, you will be ready even to fight with your own blood brother. You know, you'll be ready to fight, because look, it takes courage. It takes courage to publicly disagree with people that we love.
Yes.
But where the interest of the nation is not what drives your conduct in public and even in private, you are not likely to see anything wrong in things that are wrong. The Senate has to be most transparent. Nobody can say with certainty that this is how much the Senate spends in a year. Even the former CBN governor goofed when he said they spend, the National Assembly spends a quarter of Nigeria's budget every year. That's Sanusi, who is now the emir. He goofed. Only to secretly apologize to Ahmed Mohamed Makarfi, who was the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. Because he now said, look, he wrote a letter apologizing and saying that his aides in the office misled him. But though he made that mistake, the fact remains that the National Assembly members earn extortionate wages, and they do not see anything wrong about it. The allowances that they earn are easier imagined. The allowances that they take. That's why you see somebody so excited, someone like the lawmaker representing my senatorial zone, Dino Melaye. He just switched on his music box and was just dancing. Dancing unprovoked, and he filmed himself. You can only do that when you know you are extremely happy. Extremely happy because of the wages, the extortionate wages that you are paid. Okay. How many Nigerians who are suffering on the streets now will just suddenly switch on a music box
and start dancing?
Start dancing. It's not as if you are in a party or in a night
or Yaba left.
On your own, you are just dancing like that, and you filmed it and put it online on the internet. You know? So what we want to see, and unfortunately some of the people that I had had in the past complain about the wages of the Nigerian lawmakers.
But nothing
the
has been
moment
done.
they got into that place,
yes,
they also kept quiet. I know a particular bearded man who was complaining, but he's there now in the Senate. I've not heard that he said, look, what you are paying me is obscene. I don't like it. It's either you reduce it or I quit. Once they get into that place, everybody keeps quiet. Nigeria, like I said sometime on this program, is like a buffet. Everybody goes with his big plate with greedy tendencies to slice a huge chunk, and then you start eating.
Ismail, what do you think? Do you think every senator should? Every senator is thinking the way Jide is thinking now, because what's it called? The senator representing Bayelsa, Senator Bruce, once said he will be giving part of his own money to widows and to others. Do you think apparently some will be thinking the way I think Senator Bruce is thinking or was thinking?
Well, I think after saying what he said on national television. I doubt if he had carried out, if he had redeemed the pledge.
That's why I said was thinking,
okay,
because I was
good,
saying is.
The thing is this, unfortunately too, it is not an excuse for the lawmakers to be behaving the way they do. But unfortunately, the system, the Nigerian system, somehow encourages what they do.
And when you say the system, it's just you and I.
Yes, because I recall when I was in Borno State between 2000 and 2005. The then speaker under Sheriff Bula Mafubu is a very good friend of mine. I was in his office. We were just discussing that money. And about 10 people came from his village constituency to visit him. Of those 10 people, only one came to look for funding to further his education. The rest, it is either their wife is in the hospital. In fact, one particular one said his wife just gave birth and he needed money to buy ram to do sooner. Now, with all these demands on the lawmaker,
so where will they get money
where will he get the money from? I'm not saying it's an excuse for them to do, whatever they do, but I think that maybe if Nigerians pile enough pressure, because I recall the Senate President did promise last year to make the National Assembly budget public. In fact, not once, not twice, up till March last year, he was still making the promise. Unfortunately, the year passed by and we never saw him redeem the pledge. Maybe the civil society should begin to pile, more pressure, on the...
Should they be reminded, the civil society that you mentioned now? Have you seen much of their activities against such?
Well, since the president submitted his 2017 budget,
yes.
I think what the noise they have been making so far is to ensure that we monitor implementation of the budget. Nobody has really talked about making the finances of the National Assembly open. Well, maybe, let's see, they just announced Undumi as the chairman of INEC committee. I know Undumi is very stubborn. I have not spoken to him since he was announced as chairman, but I will also not be surprised if he turned down the offer that will not function. I will also not be, because I know him to be a stubborn person. However, like I said earlier, if Undumi is sincere about his fight, he can recruit more people.
But how many can he recruit? Really? It's still going to be the minority.
No, if he's not alone, if he's not, it depends on the way he goes about it. Because under Mark, Akume also tried something like this. It's only that Akume's own was that he alleged that Mark imported extraneous budgetary allocations into the budget. I think Mamura was the chairman of the Ethics and Privileges Committee, and Akume was tried. But up till the end of that Senate, they did not release the report.
You remember our man at the House of Representatives is still being suspended for such. What do you
remember the case of the House of Reps member who exposed his colleagues as having taken
MTN
card, toll free.
That was why it never returned to
the they suspended him.
They suspended him. So
you see, when you expose the group turns against you like a pack of wolves. So people will behave themselves.
I have a call from Akwa Ibom. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
How are you, sir? Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. What actually the Indime saga, or what is transferring between Indime and the Senate, I guess is like the two of what transpired with the former appropriation chairman committee. I think we Nigerians need to wake up and advocate for a kind of a unicameral legislator rather than this bicameral thing, which does not really translate into our development. Like me, I cannot say to you exactly what my senator or what my House of Rep member is doing. So please, I don't know if there's any way, let's start advocating for that, because we are wasting our resources on people that cannot do anything that would translate into real development. We are copying democracy, but we in Africa, I don't think this parliamentary system of a thing, though we don't practice parliamentary system, but the kind of way we handle ours is entirely, different. So we should need to do something about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Hamza. As we round up now, Jide, it boils down to the the structure, the people. So where do we come in now? Because it's talking about this bicameral, unicameral system. It should be changed. But what do you think? How can the people come in?
And the people have to show greater interest in the activities of their leaders. We are not doing that enough, and even the voices of the civil society appears, in my view, the voices of the civil society is muffled somehow. People, they are not talking like they used to talk. It's like everyone has been clobbered. I don't know whether it's appropriate to use that word. It's like everyone has been clobbered. We need the civil society to be much more active to challenge some of the bad things that these federal lawmakers are doing. If you ask me, we don't need two chambers. Let's do what they've done in Senegal by scrapping one of the chambers, so that we can save money, for other things. But if we are doomed or condemned to remain with the two arms, then we must scrutinize everything that they do. We must monitor them.
Okay. Ismail, what do you think? Can you drop a line?
Yes, I agree with him. However, I want to also say that it is not only the National Assembly that that has become a burden on our democracy so far. I think virtually all facets of the government. And I recall under Jonathan when Jonathan won his election, he said it that the cost of governance is high. A committee was set up. He set up the committee, and the committee recommended, I think, about between 20 or 30 ministries. But rather than go by the recommendation, he came and
set up another committee to look into
it. Although when President Buhari also came, he had told us that if not for constitutional inhibition, he probably wouldn't have a compact team. But from the appointment he too has been doing so far.
His personal
Okay, let's still ahead on Journalist Hangout. Subsidy fraudsters are sentenced to 10 years in prison. And more of these after this break. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. A convicted fuel subsidy fraudsters, Mrs. Ada Ugo Njadi, the Managing Director of Ontario Oil and Gas Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had arraigned the convicts before the court on August 1, 2013, alongside Mr. Bafemi Fakwade, an official of the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency, PPRA, on charges of forgery, conspiracy, and altering of documents to commit fuel subsidy fraud. The judge, however, found Fakwade not guilty and acquitted him of the charges. This should serve as a deterrent to others. What do you think, Ejide?
Yeah, I'm excited that at least we are getting somewhere with the people bleeding our country. It's always difficult to get judgment against the big people, but that a judge will sentence a billionaire, a multi-billionaire to jail is something that really makes me happy. And I hope that we can extend this to some of the politicians, some of them in the Senate, who are on trial for looting the resources of their states. There are quite a number of them who are being tried by the EFCC at this time. We have lost so much money to subsidy thieves. It is on record that 25 local oil companies, these are the same people who accuse government of not patronizing indigenous companies.
Yes.
Now 25 local companies in Nigeria collected 382 billion naira to bring in fuel, which they never did. You know the trick that they use? They will collect documents from Abuja to bring in fuel into the country. They will now divert the vessel to Benin Republic, where it will be sold in the open market.
And claiming they've received it already.
Claiming that they've delivered. Yeah.
Yes.
They will perfect the documents.
So they're making money twice.
Of course.
They're selling it and still receiving money.
You collected money, our own money, to bring in fuel for our people. But you divert it on the high seas to Benin Republic, where you now sell it. Of course, on the high seas, there are businessmen are readily available to buy the thing from you. So they will not supply the stuff to us here in Nigeria. They will sell, and they've taken money. So many of them like that. One individual, I remember when this short man from Kano, when he led the House of Reps ad hoc committee that probed subsidy fraud, that's
Farouk Lawan.
Farouk Lawan. It was revealed that in just one day, an individual withdrew 999 million naira. He set a record by making 128 withdrawals.
That day?
In one day.
Almost $1 billion.
128 withdrawals across the counter. Nigeria Nigeria never ceases to amaze me. I remember even in Jigawa State, across the counter, an individual collected 4 billion naira. Twice. Went the first time, went the second time.
So,
across the counter, we move that kind of money across the counter. It's only in our country that kind of thing can happen.
That kind of person is amazingly corrupt then, if just imagine. So if they get sentences like this, people should not pity them. That's the whole essence of this.
Of course. In fact, I was excited when I saw the breaking news yesterday. And just like Mr. Babajide said, I think there are several of them who are still standing trial over the subsidy. I think a serving senator is, is one of them.
Even the former chairman of the PDP and his son.
I do hope.
Now, on the day they brought him to court, he suddenly appeared in wheelchair.
On wheelchair.
On wheelchair.
He came on wheelchair. I hope that this same kind of sentences will be extended to
others.
Because if a case started in 2013 and we are seeing the result in 2017, for me, it's a progress because previously.
But it took a while, really.
It took a while, but
we can do better.
We can do better, but at least we are starting from somewhere. That these people who have been convicted will send signals to others that, look, it may take a while, but the long arm of the law will still catch up with you.
Can we say it's a rule yet? Because they will still go to court. Because I was reading where the woman
appeal.
They will appeal because the other woman went. All of a sudden, she fainted. She went to the hospital. She came back with plasters and she was in a wheelchair. She was seeking non-custodial. You know all this drama really because you remember the other man from Niger Delta. He came. Akpolobo came, right? The other one, we came with the crutches. Do you think all these will affect the judgment?
I don't think
one way
so.
or the other.
The judgment is supposed to be based on the content of our laws. So, and Justice Latifa Okuno is a no-nonsense judge. I'm sure that justice will be served. It is important that justice is served. It is important. See, Nigerians are going through a lot. People are suffering. But some people put us in this mess because they continue to bleed the country like there is no tomorrow. Such people must be made to pay.
And even return the money back to the coffers of
so much money has gone out of this country. So much money has gone out of this country.
To some individuals.
Yeah. Just a few individuals can buy the rest of us.
Can I be like that? Let me quickly take Lucky. I'm sorry about that today. Lucky is calling from Jos. Good evening, Lucky.
Yeah, good evening, Yori and the panelists.
Not
really doing well, trying to enlighten us, carry the awareness on.
Thank you so much.
My take on the first topic, again, is that with the deficit of infrastructure in this country, it is disheartening the amount of money both the executive and lawmakers, take. If we continue like this, it will be difficult for this country to develop. This fault does not lie squarely with the legislative, with the executive. What it takes is too much. Nigeria is a poor country, for all I care. So they should not liken themselves to develop economies where the average citizen have better living conditions. So they must reflect the reality of our situation.
All right.
And secondly, the problem is...
I don't think there will be time for that. I'm very, very sorry, because we need to create space for others to call in. Thank you so much, though. Let me, because I interrupted you, Jide. Let me just put this before I go to Ismail. What do you think? 754 million naira will be returned back to the coffers of the federal government. That means we are getting something at least. No, if we keep getting all this money.
We need to keep getting this money. The woman who was our oil minister for years, the beautiful woman who used to work at Shell, Desiane.
Yes,
she said $153 million does not belong to her. Great.
It does then.
At least the money has come back to its original owners. The original owners of that money and the Nigerian people. So it has come back to us. So I'm not even interested in the court case anymore. You're taking the money back. There's no need for Dogon Turenchi. Just let us use this money, because when they calculated it, $153 million.
A lot of money.
Dollars is hovering around 495 to 500.
Let's say 500
now. So 153 million. If you inject that money into the Northeast that badly needs reconstruction, people will see the signs. If it is honestly, if the money is honestly spent, people will see great changes.
If it's honestly spent, that's
yes,
another question.
Of course, a lot of this money is get diverted to private pockets. So the good thing is, you say you are not the owner of the money.
Give it to us.
No argument. We have the money now. Let us put it to good use. And I know that more recoveries will be made. Like this now, there are so many of them that are under trial. This subsidy thieves, there are so many of them.
I know. Just imagine someone taking monies mentor that can take care of a community, or even... Can I go on a short break? When I come back, I'll put the same question back to you. I don't go anywhere, please. Also, welcome back. I was going to go to you, but as we round up on this topic, what do you think? Will this really serve as deterrent to others, to our mommies and daddies out there that have found that is in the habit of putting their hands into the till of this of the government? Will it serve as deterrent to them? At least somebody's going to sleep in the jail today or tomorrow, yes, for like 10 years.
Yes, I think it will serve as a deterrent, because unlike previous judgments we have had over corruption cases, which most Nigerians will describe as a slap on the wrist, this one is not, one of them. And if you watch the proceedings, when the counsel to the defendants were trying to complain that their client was not giving fair treatment, considering, yes, and the judge said, well, as far as this case is concerned, she has delivered her own judgment. If you have any issue concerning ethics, you know the appropriate.
But for tenure, you can talk to me.
You understand? So I think once we have judges who stand their feet, who are like that, I mean, I think others who are watching will know that, look, this is not the way to go. So I believe very strongly that it will serve as a deterrent to others. It's just that Nigerians, for what we are,
yes,
some will still look for a way
to do it.
But
is it because we got thick skin or what?
No, you see, we are very optimistic people.
Negatively optimistic.
Yeah, someone goes into crime with the wish that
they will not catch me,
with the courage and the conviction that he will not be caught in the act.
Because the other person that was caught was stupid enough.
They say fortune favors the daring. So even the criminal knows that he's taking a big gamble. He's taking a risk. But if he's successful, quantum money.
754 in this instance.
It's enough to take a risk. It's enough to take a risk.
But it's a shame, really, that we'll still find some daddies and mommies caught in this act.
Oh, of course,
I keep saying daddies and mommies.
Your children will almost be taunted to death in school when they know that your dad has gone to jail for stealing. In fact, you will withdraw them. You have to withdraw them from school or take them outside Nigeria to school, because I know kids. They will talk and talk and talk. But they are even watching TV and they see that is Bola's dad. Bola, the friend will be waiting to see her in school the next day.
So this is a message to other mommy and daddies out there.
It's a massive disgrace.
That in the act of stealing,
go to jail for stealing. So how do you raise your own children? What do you tell your children if you have been convicted for stealing? You have no moral right to even tell a child that stealing is wrong.
As we continue, there was an intense exchange of gunfire in Yobe State on Wednesday night as a huge number of suspected Boko Haram terrorists descended on a military base with the intention of dislodging the troops and taking over the location. Our military insiders said the terrorists stormed the military base in Kamuya at 5:30 p.m. From 3 different directions, shooting non-stop for more than 30 minutes. Because the attack was unexpected and the terrorists were so many, the officers and men at the camp initially withdrew. Our sources said, however, reinforcement was quickly sent in from Buniyadi to join the troops on ground. After hours of intense fighting, the troops were able to retake the camp, dealing a serious blow on the enemy. It seems these guys don't want to. They don't want to finish. I don't understand. I don't know how to put it.
Well, yes, they don't want to finish, but I think we are gaining ground over them, because from the report, they said the army retreated and came back. In the past, once they retreat, you don't see them
They used to tactically withdraw.
Once they tactically retreat, you don't see them again. These guys will take over the place and begin to call the shots from there. I think what we have seen so far, it's an indication that the current army that we have is indeed serious, well motivated, and indeed serious, to wipe these people, out. But again, like I always say, all over the world, there's nowhere you have, at least in recent history so far, where they have totally taken these people out completely.
So we'd have to lose guard.
I think what we need to do is that the army will be on their guard, and the local communities too must join. Government too must take practical steps to de-radicalize, because some of these young ones from age of 9, 10, there are some of them who still harbor this Boko Haram thing. Boko Haram, it's not a new phenomenon. I recall when I got to Kaduna for the first time in 1995. Some Almajiris, moving around. For me, it was strange to me, because even though I attended Islamia in Otokpo, Benue State, where I was born, I didn't go out to beg for food or for money before I attended, Islamia. Our parents pay for our fees the same way they pay for conventional, But because I was in shirt and trouser, these small boys refused to believe I'm a Muslim until they tasked me to recite some portions of the Quran,
which you did.
Which I did before
they could believe.
So till date, there are some of them who still believe that going to acquire Western education is tantamount to going to a fire.
Ajay, what do you think? Our boys have done it again.
Yes, I'm impressed with the response of our soldiers from Buniyadi, where we have a sizable number of soldiers. But I'm really worried, because this attack came about 3 days or so after a village in Askiraba local government was set ablaze, completely set ablaze by these boys, and they took away women and children. So it's like they do not want to relent. This Kamoya in Yobe State is about 12 kilometers to the hometown of the Chief of Army Staff. So when the enemy
12 kilometers.
just 12 kilometers from Buratai. So when the enemy goes
So close.
like 12 kilometers to the hometown of the chief of army staff, they are trying to send a message
That's too close for
that
comfort.
you have not defeated us. I know there's a forward operational base in Buratai itself. You know, it's possible that even some of them joined in the reinforcement. What we need to do is realize that we have not defeated the enemy. Take every battle like it has just started, like the war has just started. That is the mentality that we must sustain.
Okay.
That these boys, we have not defeated them, and we are ready to wipe them out. We must show that determination.
Once and for all.
We must not relent.
Yes.
Because when you relent, you never can tell when they will strike. And they have shown us that they like to fight in the night. This time around, they came around 5:30. And the battle to retake the town lasted hours.
Yes.
To retake that base lasted hours. Why do you think they are attacking military positions? They want to steal our weapons. Boko Haram is not after capturing a town anymore.
Yes.
They know
The surprise attack now.
They want to steal weapons. Then when they attack a village, they want to steal food because they are hungry. So that is, we must deny them access to
food and weapons.
And then I was told that the people who attacked Kamuya were actually dressed like soldiers.
So that's
In fact,
another
when
thing.
they got to that base, the soldiers thought they were their colleagues.
Soldiers.
Until they opened fire on our soldiers.
Can
So
I-
we have to be really careful.
Careful. Sambo's on the line from Taraba. Good evening, Sambo.
Good evening.
How are you,
Good
sir?
evening.
Good evening.
Fine. How are you doing there?
Yeah, wonderful.
fine.
Thank you very much for
First
calling.
of all, we have to thank our soldiers because what they are doing now, if the opposition get on, now they are ready to pro.
Sambo, I don't think the line is the best this evening. It's staccato. Maybe you try and call back if you still have some minutes to go. Let me go to you now, Ismail. What do you think? Apparently, I discovered something is missing. Maybe they didn't try it. We should be trying more of the hair. Surprise these people also. The way they surprise us, maybe we'll try and surprise them also. What do you think?
Well, the thing is, if they see them gathering anywhere, certainly they will try. But where you don't see them, I mean, you can't just,
But But I was wondering, a large number coming from where?
Yes, when
so they still
when
gather.
They say a large number,
you see,
it's relative to the number of
Troops they
that
have.
we have on ground.
Exactly.
See, this is just like an insignificant village, for example, surrounded by forest and all that. So those are areas that they find comfortable to hide. You understand? Now, when they look at the number of soldiers that we have in a place,
Now reinforce.
and the weapons that they are carrying, they will now plan. They have intelligence. They use a lot of the locals to give them intelligence. So they will now say, okay, these people have about 30 soldiers in this town. Okay, we will bring maybe 60. And if they are carrying the same weapons as the soldiers that we have on ground, honestly, our soldiers will have to first escape.
Yeah, because it's a surprise
they'll waste
attack.
them.
I know. Abubakar, good evening. From Niger. We lost that call. All right, let me go to you now, Ismail. What do you think? So we should give them surprise also.
I want to believe that if our army, if they know where they are, certainly they will give them surprise, because in the past, the army will wait. When they attack, they respond.
So as we round up, what do you think? Advice? What do you think we're lacking? Where should we build up?
I think the army must not relax. We must not be carried away by the fact that yes, we have defeated them. I want to agree sincerely that things have really changed. For example, Buniadi, students have returned to
school.
You know, Maiduguri nightlife is back to the town. So, and most of the access routes have been reopened.
So we should not relent.
We should not relax.
Okay.
We should not be carried
All right,
away.
Jide, what do you think as we round up?
The whole of the Northeast, we should improve our intelligence and cover the entire Northeast. Because as we have seen, they are de-emphasizing areas where they know we have large troop concentration. They are focusing on places that you would least expect that they will attack.
Yes.
Now you see places like Madagali, they went there, kidnapped women and children and left. So we must not, and Buniyadi for a long time they didn't go there. But we can see now that in the last 1 month or so, they've gone to that area
closer.
like 2 or 3 times. So
exactly.
that should tell us that, look, these guys, we have to really roll up our sleeves, you know, and be ready for a long battle, because they are not going to relax. When they left Sambisa Forest, they went with their weapons. So they will still be using those weapons against us, you know. And some of the trucks that they stole from the Nigerian army, the multi-terrain vehicles, they still have them.
They'll use them once in a while.
Yes, so if they storm an area, driving one of those multi-terrain vehicles, you will think it's the Nigerian army that is coming. That is what they did in this Kamuya.
Gentlemen, we need to go now. Babajide Kolade Otitoje, thank you
so much
for hanging out with us. Ismail Omipido, thank you also for hanging out. And that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us next week for more interesting episodes of the program. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Dakbo Aruwajoye. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.